Hello, this tutorial helps use the Fink's Sales Competence Assessment Development Report, or SCA for short. The SCA report is based on a questionnaire made up of 99 questions, taking about 30 minutes to complete. The results are generated as soon as the individual finishes and can be delivered directly into your inbox. The report is designed to be simple and intuitive for the salesperson and the coach. Training or certification are not required. The SCA report measures the person's attitude towards key competencies in the sales process and their current perception of their sales competence. The person does need to have some sales experience, or they will not be able to accurately interpret the questionnaire statements. The report enables you to focus on specific competencies needed for them to develop and reach maximum potential and career goals. Let's start by looking at the sales core competencies. The questionnaire results generate information based on these 18 core sales competencies. These competencies are coachable, trainable, observable, and critical for the individual's performance as well as for the team's. The report will clearly define each one. However, no one focuses or needs to focus on all 18. The key is to prioritize the ones that are most impactful to their current performance and look at their competence scores. Let's look at what's in the SCA report. The SCA report identifies the person's perceived inclination to each of the 18 sales competencies. You'll find that they tend to agree with most of their results, but it's normal to have some reluctance to accept certain development areas or question why areas they have experience in have lower scores. The scores reflect your current level of proficiency and are impacted by your beliefs about your present level of competence. Lower scores could mean you currently believe that you're not very competent in the sales area, or that a specific area is not important for you at this time. The goal of exploring challenges is to find what may be impeding or slowing a person's present success. Here are the sections of the SCA report: the executive summary, the individual scores, the development plan, the excuse index, and the questions section. Let's highlight each of these sections. The executive summary presents the proficiency level scores for each of the 18 sales competencies. There are 3 levels of proficiency. Higher levels are scores ranging from 76% and higher. Medium level ranges from 39% to 75%, and lower levels range from 38% and lower. The higher the percentage, the higher the level of proficiency in that sales competence. No one will have all high scores because there's no need to focus on all competencies at the highest levels at the same time. So it's important to look at the competencies that have the greatest relationship or associated impact to increasing performance. To prioritize the competencies, start by focusing on the areas of the sales process in which they have difficulties or feel the need for higher performance. Next, focus on the ones where performance is low, even if it only affects part of the sales process. Lower performing competencies make achieving success much more difficult. Competencies change as they are developed or as the person's present focus changes. Think about what a salesperson might focus on versus what a sales manager would, or an inside salesperson versus an account rep. As you work on key areas and build them to higher scores, you may find that other areas you were higher in have dropped. It's because you're not as focused on them. Think of the golf analogy. If you're focused on your putting game, then you're finding your driving skills have gotten rustier. Scores may also drop for competencies if you don't perceive them to be essential at this time. For example, a sales manager, you'd expect prospecting scores to be lower because they are not likely to focus on them. In the development plan sections, each development plan focuses on one sales competence. The plan highlights their current score, their current score description, and how to develop the competence. Let's look at how each development plan is broken down into 3 sections. The first part defines the competence again, shows the person's score, and what it means in terms of a high and low score. The second section further describes the individual's current level of competence, and the final section is the development plan. It provides customized suggestions for improvement of said competence. Use these as discussion and reference points to create a concise plan of action. The excuse index is a percentage number showing how much time the person is directly devoting to sales activities. How likely is this person to make excuses that pull them away from the sales activities? It's calculated by providing the person with possible choices that would lead to avoidance of sales-related activities. The lower the score, the more likely they'll focus on current prospects and developing their business potential. They'll ignore non-sales activities and focus on actions that directly produce sales results. For example, a person with a sales index of 11% spends about 11% of their time not selling and 89% spent on sales activities. This is an excellent score. The average is around 35%, and even then, the most successful salespeople have much lower scores. The higher the excuse index, the less motivation they have to sell. They're more likely to make excuses and prioritize other activities over selling. They may need to mentally prepare for selling, and it typically exhausts them. They are more likely to procrastinate and miss sales opportunities. The questions section has sets of 3 questions per competence. They help create and implement actions needed to develop the competence. As a coach, you can use the questions as topics for discussion and to create a detailed development plan. The individual can also answer the questions for self-reflection and to start their development plan. The questions are dependent on the person's score. Questions will change as scores change. For example, questions based on high competence scores will focus on reflecting about the actions that bring success, maintaining this high level of performance, and determining factors to maximize the competence to the next level. Questions based on lower scores will focus on reflecting on activities needed for this competence, defining current critical factors that prevent developing the competence, and determining actions to bring the competence to a higher level of performance. Here are a few final tips and reminders. Don't focus on all 18 competencies. Prioritize which are most currently impactful on performance. Apply the priorities to use the development plan and questions to create a ready-to-use plan of action. Set a schedule to revisit progress and achievements. As the development plan proceeds and goals are achieved, have the salesperson retake the SCA questionnaire to reevaluate their sales competencies. Use the SCA in conjunction with the Sales 18 behavioral assessment to provide a more comprehensive picture of the salesperson's development plans. And finally, resources. There are sample reports including the SCA and the Sales 18, plus many additional resources available at our Extended Disc Sphinx VIP Client Resource Center. Contact us at customer service at Extended Disc or go to our website, www.extendeddisc.org, for more information.